Hey everybody, it's me, Audio Bible Lady, and we are back 2 days in a row. That's awesome. Not going to guarantee that that's going to be an every time thing, but it just so happened to have time right now to hop on here, and I want to. So we're going to pick up where we left off. We were halfway through chapter 9. I stopped intentionally yesterday because I thought it was really important to not just fumble right into Noah's sons and what happens next, but to kind of just let sit the whole covenant that God gave them. They came out of this flood, and Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives are coming off, and they're getting ready to repopulate the earth. And God gives them this beautiful covenant, and you and I know it today. It's a rainbow. It's beautiful when it rains and it's sunny out. We all look to the sky like, where's this rainbow at? I want to find it. I want to see it because it's beautiful, and it reminds us of God's promises. But it was very special to Noah and his family because it promised them that never again would God destroy the entire earth with a flood. He wouldn't ever wipe out everybody again via a flood. So I wanted to kind of leave that there and just let that be the last thing that sat in our minds yesterday. We're going to pick it up today, taking a little bit of a look at Noah's sons and find out something interesting here, because it almost seems as quickly as they were spared and found righteous and starting anew, God starts anew with them, that somebody kind of messes up. So let's just check this out, because I like taking right from the Word of God. Don't take from my word. Read his. It says, the sons of Noah who came out of the boat with their father were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. We're going to learn more about that in a little bit here. From these three sons of Noah came all the people who now populate the earth. Everybody comes from them. After the flood, Noah began to cultivate the ground, and he planted a vineyard. One day he drank some wine he had made, and he became drunk and lay naked in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw that his father was naked and went outside and told his brothers. So he doesn't go in there and, oops, I saw Dad, and cover him up and let it be. He goes and runs off and tells his brothers, like, hey, Dad's naked, kind of the thing. It says, then Shem and Japheth took a robe, held it over their shoulders, and backed into the tent to cover their father. As they did this, they looked the other way so they would not see him naked. When Noah woke up from his stupor, he learned what Ham, his younger son, had done. Then he cursed Canaan, the son of Ham. May Canaan be cursed. May he be the lowest of servants to his relatives. Then Noah said, may the Lord, the God of Shem, be blessed, and may Canaan be his servant. May God expand the territory of Japheth. May Japheth share the prosperity of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. Okay, so this makes it clear, this makes it obvious to us that what Ham did was wrong. It was wrong in the eyes of Noah and his family, and I'm sure wrong in the eyes of God. And so a very clear division is made here, and he is made lower. And in a sense, he's praying over, Shem and Japheth and saying, I want you guys to prosper. I pray for your prosperity. I pray for your for good for you. And for Ham, he'll be your servant. He'll be lower for you for what he has done. It says Noah lived another 350 years after the great flood. He lived 950 years and then he died. Next we get into, it says this is the account of the families of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the three sons of Noah. Many children were born to them after the great flood. I assure you, many children were born to them after the great flood. So, if you want to learn more about that genealogy and what the lineup is and what their names are, I encourage you, open up the Word of God, check out Genesis chapter 10, and you can go through the list of descendants of Japheth, descendants of Ham, descendants of Shem. We all come from them. But it's just, there's a lot of names in there. As you know, I don't pronounce them well, and I don't feel like sitting here giggling through the lists right now. So I'll go through the little conclusion here, and then we're going to go on to what happens next. Is everything hunky-dory? Does another problem arise? What's up? So in the conclusion, it says, these are the clans that descended from Noah's sons, arranged by nation according to their lines of descent. All the nations of the earth descended from these clans after the great flood. So again, chapter 10, go check it out if you want to know genealogy, if that's your thing. It's actually quite interesting. Chapter 11 now. At one time, all the people of the world spoke the same language and used the same words. Can you imagine that? There was all one language, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't English, in case you were wondering over there. But whatever language that was, everybody knew the same way of communication, and everybody understood one another very well, very completely. So let's see what happens with that. As the people migrated to the east, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia and settled there. They began saying to each other, "Let's make bricks and harden them with fire." In this region, bricks were used instead of stone, and tar was used for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build a great city for ourselves." Uh-oh, I'm seeing "for ourselves" in here a lot. "With a tower that reaches into the sky. This will make us famous and keep us from being scattered all over the world." But the Lord came down to look at the city and the tower the people were building. "Look," he said, "the people are united, and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse the people with different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other." In that way, the Lord scattered them all over the world, and they stopped building the city. That is why the city was called Babel, because that is where the Lord confused the people with different languages. In this way, he scattered them all over the world. So this way, they were spread out. They weren't combined, again, in that joint effort. It seems like sometimes when you get a whole group united into one effort of one thing, they kind of lose focus of God, and they start becoming self-centered and all about themselves and how to make themselves powerful and great. And so that's not always such a great thing. I love how it was called the City of Babel, because honestly, what that makes me think as a mother of boys here, they were all toddlers at one time, and they babbled like crazy, and it was gibberish, and it made no sense. And I'm sure that that was what it was like that day. As God confused their language, it probably sounded like a bunch of toddlers babbling to one another over there. All right, then we have another lineup of descendants, the descendants from Shem to Abraham. And I am also going to skip those. And tomorrow we will pick up starting in chapter 12. So if you want to find out the descendants from Shem, the line of Shem, which was one of Noah's children, to Abram, go ahead and check that out in the second half of chapter 11. And tomorrow, or the next time I hop on here, whatever comes first, we will start off in chapter 12. And one of my favorite stories, actually, they're all my favorite, but Abram and Sarai's story are they're two fascinating characters in the Bible. And please keep in mind, as we're reading about these guys, this is before the Ten Commandments. This is before the laws and the rules were there. So it's kind of curious to wonder how they became aware of God, what God did to make them aware of him, and what made them choose him. Was there a calling on their life? Was there a specific moment that they just said, you know what, I believe there's God, and I'm going to follow him? And were there others that didn't quite choose that way too? We're going to find all that out as we continue on in the book of Genesis, and I hope you'll continue to join me on this journey. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.